I'm taking a bubble bath, and I'm so happy and relaxed, and I've been kind of rejuvenated, which is good, but I'm feeling better, and I'm gonna go nap after this and pet my cats and hopefully continue to feel good and just try to switch my thinking. It's not gonna get much better than this. I had to stop the video to explain a couple things. I'm gonna try not to cry. There are a lot of people that did not want me to publish this video. It will not look good for them if I publish this. There are a lot of people that think that I'm not being true to myself when I publish these videos. These videos, they worry them, and that's not what this is meant to do. So I'm sorry, but I'm really not sorry. I am publishing this video. I feel that it's more important to share about what I've gone through and risk certain people disapproving than to try to hide it, because I don't think that that's honest. I don't think it's real. It's my life, my YouTube channel. If you don't want to watch it, then don't watch it. Like I said, I'm not sorry. These videos are about my stay, my 3-day stay over Christmas at a mental health wing of a hospital. I am walking around Rock Island right now. This is kind of a serious video, but I thought I'd try to keep it casual because there's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself the way that I did. I spent Christmas in the mental hospital, which I'm not ashamed of. I'm actually really proud of myself for taking care of myself. All I really want is coffee. Oh, it smells like pizza. I did not attempt suicide or anything like that. I was self-harming, and I didn't trust myself to be alone in my house with the sharp things. I was having really bad suicidal ideation. It was like one of the first times in my life where I actually considered following through with a plan that I had come up with, like a suicidal plan that I'd come up with, and I didn't do it. I didn't do anything. It was just kind of very terrifying to have that running through my mind all the time, and I wanted professional help to get rid of those thoughts. I was done trying to handle this on my own, and I decided to go to a mental health care facility. Oh, that's cute. A mental health care facility. And I had some time to kill before my fitting. So here I am, and I will fill you in on the details later. This is kind of a bad intro, but I looked kind of decent today, so I decided, oh, I should probably, you know, vlog. As you can see, I'm getting ready for Newsies right now. Thought I would take this moment to talk about my experience in a mental hospital. It sounds kind of scary when I think about it like that, but it really didn't feel like they didn't make it feel like I was insane or crazy. Definitely there's a weird stigma around mental hospitals. You think that you have to be certifiably insane and committed by somebody else to be in a mental hospital, and that's not true. At least that's what I heard growing up, is that mental hospitals were for people who are crazy beyond help, and that's where you went to stay to live the rest of your life. There are some people where that's the case. In a lot of cases, like mine, that wasn't true. So I'm gonna make this video for people who feel like they are on their very last hope, like they have nothing left to live for, like they have been considering suicide, and they want help, but they don't know where to get it. This is a video for you if you were ever curious about admitting yourself to the mental unit of a hospital is probably the better term here, because that's more likely what's going to exist. What happened was I had been doing a fair amount of research on mental hospitals and like rehabilitation centers, so I wasn't just going into it blind, and I didn't just pick a random place and then decide that was gonna be the place I was gonna spend the next week. That, I think for some people, unfortunately, that's how it has to happen, but this is to help you decide if this would be a good decision for you to go to a mental hospital if you feel like you are in need of help. Really do look into it and look into the options around you. Kansas City, Overland Park, there's a lot of really great places, and I had a lot of options that I could have chose from. There's somebody outside my door. That's the team. That I was alone for like the couple days surrounding Christmas because my family was gone and my boyfriend was gone with his family, and I had been feeling very suicidal. I had been having suicidal ideation thoughts. I had created plans just in case I thought that suicide was the only option. I had started to make that journey. I had never actually tried or attempted to commit suicide or anything like that. I was feeling like I wasn't really worth much, and that the world would definitely go on turning without me, and you know, all those hopeless thoughts and feelings that most people maybe only feel once or twice in their life and then it goes away. But for me, it had started to become an everyday occurrence, and with every day the thoughts had become stronger and more present. I was in communication with my boyfriend, and I said, I don't know, I think today might be the day, because there were so many days where he had offered to take me there because of panic attacks I was having. I didn't want to go to the hospital because I had all these preconceived notions about what was going to go on and what was going to happen to me there. I thought they would force me to stay for a very, very long time, even if I committed myself. I thought they would sedate me and strap me to a bed, because that's what you see in movies. I would just say, no, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. I was just crying. Like my whole body was shaking and I was trying to hurt myself, and I would say, I don't want to go to the hospital. But finally I was texting him and I said, I think I need to go today. I was just thinking, how am I going to survive the next 3 days without hurting myself, without possibly ending my life? I sat down in the middle of having a panic attack and I Googled what really happens when you voluntarily admit yourself to the mental ward of a hospital. Found some kind of helpful answers that really laid out the pros and the cons of it, so that's kind of what I want to do for you now. So my experience was, I felt it was the right thing to do because I felt out of control. I felt like there was just this dark force inside of me that was trying to get me to die. Hashtag Satan. I felt like there was a part of my brain that was attacking my body, that was attacking the other parts of my brain that wanted to be happy. Honestly, if you're considering it all, it probably means that you should go, even if just to get recommended to an outpatient program, which is different than staying in the ward. It's just where you are prescribed to go to basically group therapy sessions for like 9-hour sessions where you just go and then you get to go home and sleep in your own bed, and you get to eat your own food, and you get to, you get your own schedule. But in my experience, I think before you go, you should know these things. I don't think you should consider them. I think you should know them, because I don't want to stop you from going to the hospital. If there's any chance at all that you feel like you could be a danger to yourself or others, you should go to the hospital. Know that they will take all of your stuff. So that was the biggest thing that I didn't know was going to happen and gave me an anxiety attack. Was when I got there. Know that pretty much anything else that you bring besides clothes and books, they will take from you. And it's more as a precaution for other patients. I mean, it is for you too. You can't have anything in there with string. You can't have anything that's sharp that you could hurt yourself with. You can't have any food. You can't bring your own meds in. So know that they will take everything, including your phone, including your computer, iPad, whatever. So they'll take blankets and pillows too. So just know that, like, the creature comforts that you're used to. Like, you won't have certain things with you, which is unfortunate, but there are really good reasons for it. And you just want to make sure you're not going to put yourself or other people in danger. Because even if you don't have a history of self-harm, there are probably people in that building with you who do. It's more just about being considerate of other people's conditions. So that was the biggest thing I didn't know, is that they were going to take my phone away. I just assumed that they wouldn't want to take anything away from us that would keep us in contact with loved ones and like parents and friends and all that kind of stuff. Oh no, this is not staying on. Oh, come in. I was just vlogging. Oh, yes. I have glue in my eyeball.
Okay, well, I'll let you deal with that.
No, I'm fine. It's good. We're a little behind right now, but it'll be okay.
It'll be fine.
Ugh!
Have fun.
Thanks. So, anyways, I don't remember what I was talking about, but know that they will take your phone away, and what you'll have to do is use really old landline phones, or use one of the nurses' cell phones if you want to call somebody, and they will give you a piece of paper to write down phone numbers on that you feel like you might forget. I got a certain number of hours that I was free to call people and let them know how I was, and then the rest of the time they encourage us to focus on getting better. I would highly recommend bringing something that is non-screen related for you to do. And like, they have like stuff there. They had like puzzles and board games and movies you could watch and stuff. But number 2, know that when you voluntarily admit yourself, what happens is you have an option to apply for discharge after 24 hours, I believe. At least that was the policy with where I was. Because if you go in and you say, I'm suicidal, they're not gonna just let you out. They want what's best for you. At least my nurses did. I was really lucky. They made sure that I was safe for at least a day before they would let me apply for discharge, which I never ended up doing. But what you can do is, if you get there and it's not helpful and you hate it there, you can apply for a discharge. If you're the one that checks yourself in, you can make your case going, hey, I don't feel this way anymore. I don't feel suicidal. I don't feel how I did before. I'm feeling stable. Yeah, you can make your case for leaving. And then you would meet with a doctor, and they would review all of your stuff. And God, what year is it? Like, if you are truly stable, because they're not idiots, they'll know if you're not, then they will let you out. That's kind of a double-edged sword. Know that you can apply for discharge, so you feel like you have some control over where you're going, but also know that your application for discharge may not be accepted. If you discharge yourself after they say that you weren't supposed to discharge, then you're going against medical advice, which means that you can't sue them if something were to happen to you once you were out of their care. Know that you will be, I don't want to say the word forced, because I never felt forced to do anything. It will be highly recommended that you stay within the hospital until you are feeling back up on your feet. Third thing I want to say, that the average stay, at least the place that I was at, was 3 to 5 days. So if you think about it, most people in their lifetime have spent 3 to 5 days away from what they call home. So, even if you're afraid of being in a place that you don't know for 3 to 5 days, it's only 3 to 5 days. She's gonna be a blinky princess tonight. Something I was very mistaken about was, it's not just a vacation where you get to sit around, meaning that you don't get the luxuries of a vacation. You're there to rest and to get better, but getting better takes the priority. The only thing that you can possibly focus on is getting better and focusing all of your energy on seeking help, which is scary. And I wish that I kind of known that it was more about hard work going in, because then I would have, in my mind, I would have prepared for that better. You're there to go to therapy every day, essentially, like all day. like I was going through 12 hours of therapy, whether it was in groups, whether it was individual, whether it was a psychiatrist trying to get me the right medicine. So it's all very helpful, but you are on a strict schedule. It's hard work, and that's the last thing you want to hear when you're depressed, is that you're gonna have to work because you're just so tired. They don't force you to do anything. And so you can lay in bed for the first 3 hours of therapy and then go to it the rest of the day. Because it's all about taking it in stride. But that, however, might mean that you'd stay there longer. For me, the minute I got in there, I was like, the first day I was fine. This next 2 days, I was like, I want to go home so bad. I want to see my family. I want to talk to my boyfriend. That's just how I am. I have pretty high functioning anxiety, depression, so I was going to everything, and that's never expected of you. But what is expected of you is that while you're there, you are making an effort to get better. I had to get my mic. This is my Watch What Happens shirt. Oh, I smell so bad. Ow. In a sense, I wish I knew how scary it was, but I also wish that I knew how good it was, because everybody would use it kind of as a threat, which I don't appreciate. You don't want to be in the hospital, do you? You don't want to be, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be someone that has that on their record. Oh, but if you hear people's voices in your head saying things along the lines of, you should be ashamed for admitting yourself, then of course you're not going to want to do it. You don't want to let people down, which is why so many people have anxiety. It just leads into this cycle of unhealthy behavior. I wish that I knew how helpful it was. Come in! She's doing a vlog finally. I thought I should talk finally about what it's like to admit yourself to a hospital, because it was deceptively, is that a word? Deceptively a good experience. Everybody always tells you, you don't want to be in a hospital. You don't want to be in a mental ward, Kelly. You don't belong there. I was like, thinking back on that, I was like, they have no idea if that was a good thing for me. Oh, everyone's coming in. Hello, come in. That's Trey.
Oh, hi.
That's Darrington.
So follow me on Instagram at tfame523.
We market.
We market. We
market
plug.
ourselves.
We're.
That's the biz.
I'm dying. We're gonna go to Walgreens, and we're gonna finish this video. So I'm gonna talk about what happened to me, like specifically when I went into the mental ward, what every day consisted of, so that if you are thinking about going, that you can plan on certain things happening. We're turning around. Day one, I drove myself down to Shawnee Mission Medical Center, and I would not recommend driving yourself because I was just bawling the whole time, but I didn't really have a choice. So if you could have someone drive you and take you and sit with you through the whole process, I would recommend doing that, because I did not do that. And when you're in a suicidal state, you can't really think straight anyway. So that's why I wish that I had somebody with me. I just went to the emergency room entrance where the big circle drive usually is, or where ambulances, like drop people off. I didn't have to pay for parking. It says patient parking, so I think most hospitals will have patient parking, but that's why it would be good to have somebody else take you. All I did was go straight up to the receptionist at the emergency room, and I said, I need to be admitted to the mental health ward. They're not really gonna question you. So they just checked me in. They asked, for my name, insurance, all that fun stuff. And they did basically like a vitals check. And they asked me a couple questions, made sure that I was okay medically. And it might have been a different procedure if I had a different mental disorder. They were like, your blood pressure is really high. Are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not okay. They decided to put me in kind of the waiting area for the mental health part of the hospital. She's a woman. She's a woman. So somebody escorted me and put all my stuff in a draw some blood. I thought that said Shrek Golf Course, and it doesn't. I want to go to the Shrek Golf Course. Dang it! Oh, I got so excited. I sat in a room with nothing in it for 15 minutes, just cried and stared at the wall. And they didn't treat me poorly by any means. People came in to check on me. So I had two. One of them was a psychiatrist and the other one was like a licensed counselor or something. Anyway, they were both amazing. I loved both of them. So the first one asked me like, why are you here? Like, why did you come here? The other one did basically a mental assessment to see if I was really unstable enough to be in the inpatient program, which means staying at the ward to keep me safe, essentially. They asked me a lot of questions about how long have you been feeling suicidal? Have you felt this way before? Lord have mercy. They ruled out, schizophrenia. They ruled out bipolar, kind of. They ruled out a lot of more severe mental health issues before they settled on major depressive disorder, suicidal, anxiety disorder, and adrenal fatigue. Those are the things that they all kind of came to a consensus on. That first consultation kind of proved that the things that I was experiencing and feeling were valid, like from a medical standpoint. So it was kind of nice to like get confirmation from a medical professional that, no, this is happening inside of your body and these are probably the reasons why. She said, it sounds like you have tried basically being an outpatient, which means I tried changing my lifestyle, I tried, eating better, exercising more, so many different things. So she said, if you want to, we have a case to admit you as an inpatient. And I was like, yes, please do that. I can't be alone. It was just like a terrifying thing to me to think about going home at that point. And that's how I knew I had made the right decision. They admitted me to the inpatient program. I was prescribed essentially to stay in the hospital just like you would be for any other illness until you get better. So then I had to kind of wait for another 20 minutes and took my stuff out of the locker, let me look at my phone one more time. So they took me up to my room. It's a hospital room, essentially. Very kind of drab and dull. There was no TV. There's only like a book that you could read about, like how to turn your life around. A little workbook that they gave us that, I thought was really dumb going in, but then I looked through it and I was like, wait, this is how healthy people think? Because you have literally nothing else to do while you're there. You could go color or you could go watch a movie that you've seen a million times. And so it kind of forces you to take an interest in healing yourself instead of distracting yourself. We're taught so much to shove it down and just find a distraction instead of process through it. I got there at 4 and then I was admitted at 8. And they went through all my stuff and told me what I could and could not have. Put all the stuff that I couldn't have in a locker and put my valuables in a safe. I got to change back into my own clothes, which was nice, which is why I think it's really important to have a change of clothes when you go there. All I did that night was read my book and meet a couple people and then take some meds and go to bed. First night was rough because it was a new place. People I didn't know, couldn't talk to my family, I couldn't call anyone. It was past calling hours, so that's, I think, what really messed me up. So they woke us up to check our vitals and then they would wake us up to give us our meds, and then I met with the psychiatrist who would evaluate us pretty much every morning and make sure that, we were okay, see if we were making progress. And then I met with a counselor again to they just kind of talked with us about what we were feeling, what you were going through that first night, rate our discomfort, our anxiety on a scale of 1 to 10. They gave us a schedule and it had all the activities we could do for that day. So like breakfast was served at like from like 7 to 9. So that was rough. They would bring us a tray of food if we slept through breakfast instead of just kind of leaving us to our own devices. So that was nice of them. And then we'd have group therapy sessions, and basically what they are is everybody goes into the same room and you talk about one aspect of your life or mental illness or things, you know, you wish you could change, and you get advice from other people who maybe have been through the same thing. And you talk about like relationships and mental illness, diet and mental illness. It seems very simple, but it's all the stuff that like your friends and family try to talk to you about, but it's really hard to take them seriously because they're not medical professionals. It was just nice to be able to hear what other people had gone through and experienced. That's pretty much how every day would go. So we'd have meal, session of group therapy, meal, activity, meal, group therapy, daily check-in, lights out. So we'd have an activity like art therapy or movement therapy. So like you could go to a yoga session or you could go and draw, and they would give you certain things to draw. That would be therapeutic. So they'd be like, draw where you are now and where you want to be. And it was kind of funny how much I thought I knew and how little I actually did know. The best thing about it was the people that most people would look at and say this person's crazy. There were people in there who you would think like this is the worst kind of person, and they were some of my best friends. And all of these people are good people inherently. It's just that their brains they've been told something so many times that they start to believe it, or their brain tells them that they are a certain way so many times that you start to believe it. They were there to try to get better and to try to fix something that they felt was wrong inside of them. I just thought that everyone there, because of that, was admirable. You just have to go into it, I think, with a willingness to be changed and a willingness to try. It might take a couple days for you to get to that point, and that's okay. You had your day structured out, and there wasn't a lot that you could do other than just do the things that they gave you to do, take care of yourself. The environment that I was used to in my own mind and externally was one of, well, how are you going to get better, and what are you going to fix? How are you going to be a better version of you? It doesn't work for me, especially when you have depression. There's this lack of hope. Or if you don't have hope that things will get better, then it's really hard to try to fix yourself and make yourself better. Whereas if you just think about, okay, well, what can I look forward to tomorrow? What can I be glad about for today? What was one thing I accomplished? They had us set goals, like little goals, and like my goal was like simple things like I want to eat a whole meal, which I'm really bad at. I was like, I just want to eat a whole meal. That was it. And at the end of the day, being able to say I accomplished that goal, I ate a whole meal, felt better than any time I'd ever sat down and tried to be like, I don't like this about myself and this and this and this, and I want to fix all of them tomorrow. And then I got discharged day after Christmas. I got to call people during it. They had visiting hours and calling hours at the same time. I would call my boyfriend for an hour, and then my family would come and visit me for an hour or two. But the visiting hours are short on purpose because it helps you to focus on yourself. You want to admit yourself, but you're worried about communication with the outside world. You have it, and after a while you start not to crave it. It's like after 3 days in there, I was like, I don't really feel like looking at my phone. I don't feel like watching Netflix. I'm content to just sit here and be me. Please text, call, DM, let me know how you feel about this. Let me know if you are thinking about this, and I could try to do my best to help you or refer you to someone who can help you better than I can. I just had a really good experience at Shawnee Mission, and they saved my life. They're such wonderful people, such wonderful nurses. I feel so much better than I did before. They just did everything that I was not able to help myself with, that I did not have the resources to do. I'm gonna put the link to their stuff and their phone number and their location, their address, and the link down below. Check in on each other, take care of each other, love each other, and I will see you next week.
Bye.